90% of people will work their entire lives and never achieve financial freedom. They'll trade 40+ years of their life for a paycheck, retire with barely enough to survive, and spend their final decades worrying about money. This isn't an exaggeration. It's a statistical reality. But the 10% who do achieve financial freedom aren't smarter, luckier, or more talented. They simply avoided 6 critical traps that everyone else falls into. Today I'm going to show you exactly what those traps are. Financial freedom means having enough passive income to cover your living expenses without needing to work. It's the point where work becomes optional, not mandatory. Where you wake up every morning and choose how to spend your time, not because a boss tells you to, but because you genuinely want to. Most people never reach this point, and the reason isn't income. There are doctors, lawyers, and executives earning $300,000 a year who are living paycheck to paycheck. And there are teachers and plumbers earning $60,000 who retire as millionaires. The difference isn't how much you make. It's how many traps you avoid along the way. Let me show you the 6 reasons why 90% of people will never be financially free. Reason number 1. They never define what financial freedom actually means for them. Ask 100 people what financial freedom looks like, and you'll get 100 vague answers. I want to be rich. I want to not worry about money. I want to be comfortable. These aren't goals. They're wishes. And wishes don't have action plans. Wealthy people define financial freedom with precision. They calculate their exact monthly expenses. They determine exactly how much passive income they need to cover those expenses. They set a specific net worth target with a specific timeline. For example, if your monthly expenses are $5,000, you need $60,000 per year in passive income. Using the 4% withdrawal rule, that means you need $1.5 million invested. Now you have a number. Now you can reverse engineer the exact savings rate, investment returns, and timeline needed to get there. Without this clarity, you're driving without a destination. You might be moving, but you're not getting anywhere. This single step, defining your number, separates the 10% from the 90% before they even begin. Reason number 2. They optimize for comfort instead of growth. Human beings are wired to seek comfort. A stable job, a predictable routine, a familiar environment. But financial freedom lives on the other side of comfort. It requires you to do things that feel uncomfortable. Negotiating a higher salary feels uncomfortable. Starting a side business feels uncomfortable. Investing in the stock market when prices are crashing feels uncomfortable. Living below your means when everyone around you is upgrading feels uncomfortable. The 90% choose comfort at every decision point. They stay at the same job for years without asking for a raise because asking feels awkward. They keep their savings in a bank account earning nothing because the stock market feels scary. They spend everything they earn because delaying gratification feels painful. The 10% embrace discomfort as the price of freedom. They understand that temporary discomfort today buys permanent freedom tomorrow. Every uncomfortable decision is an investment in their future self. Comfort is the enemy of financial freedom. The more comfortable you are right now, the less likely you are to be free later. Reason number 3. They treat their career as a destination instead of a vehicle. Most people think about their career in terms of job titles and status. I want to be a manager. I want to be a director. I want to be a VP. They climb the corporate ladder, collecting titles and modest raises, without ever asking the critical question: is this career path actually leading me to financial freedom? The 10% treat their career as a vehicle, not a destination. They constantly ask, how can this job accelerate my path to financial independence? Maybe it's maximizing employer 401k matching. Maybe it's learning skills they can use to start a business. Maybe it's building a network that opens doors to higher paying opportunities. They also know when to switch vehicles. If your current career has a low ceiling, no amount of hard work will break through it. The 10% are willing to change careers, industries, and even countries if it accelerates their timeline to freedom. They don't have emotional attachment to their job title. They have emotional attachment to their freedom. Reason number 4. They confuse assets with liabilities. This is perhaps the most financially devastating confusion in modern society. Most people think their house is their biggest asset. Their car is a sign of success. Their designer wardrobe is an investment in their image. But let me apply a simple test. Is it putting money in your pocket or taking money out? Your primary residence costs you mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, insurance, and HOA fees. It takes money out. It's a liability. Your car costs you payments, insurance, gas, maintenance, and depreciation. It takes money out. Liability. Your clothes cost money and decrease in value the moment you wear them. Liability. Real assets generate income. Rental properties produce rent. Stocks produce dividends and capital gains. Businesses produce profits. Intellectual property produces royalties. The 90% spend their lives accumulating liabilities while thinking they're building wealth. The 10% relentlessly acquire income-producing assets. Every dollar is either deployed to buy something that generates more dollars, or it's gone forever. There is no middle ground. Reason number 5. They underestimate the power of time. Compound interest is the most powerful force in wealth building, but it requires one ingredient that most people waste: time. Let me show you what I mean with a simple example. If you invest $500 per month starting at age 25, at 10% average annual returns, you'll have over $3 million by age 65. But if you wait until 35 to start with the same $500 per month and 10% returns, you'll have only $1.1 million. That 10-year delay cost you $2 million. Not because you invested less per month, but because you gave compound interest less time to work. The 90% say, "I'll start investing next year. I'll build that business someday. I'll get serious about money after I deal with X." They treat time like an infinite resource. But time is the one thing you can never get back. Every year you delay, the mountain you need to climb gets steeper. The 10% start immediately, even imperfectly, even with small amounts, because they understand that starting now with $100 is infinitely better than starting later with $1,000. Reason number 6. They go it alone. Financial freedom is not a solo sport. Yet most people try to figure everything out by themselves. They refuse to ask for help. They won't hire a financial advisor. They won't join a community of like-minded people. They won't invest in mentors or coaches. This isolation is incredibly expensive. Every mistake you make alone is a mistake someone else has already made and solved. Every year you spend figuring out the basics is a year you could have spent executing advanced strategies with guidance. The 10% build teams. They hire accountants to optimize their taxes. They work with financial advisors to structure their investments. They join mastermind groups to learn from people further ahead on the path. They read books, take courses, and attend seminars to accelerate their knowledge. They understand that the cost of not getting help far exceeds the cost of getting it. A financial advisor who saves you from one bad investment decision has paid for themselves 10 times over. A mentor who helps you avoid 3 years of mistakes has given you back time you can never buy. Financial freedom is a team sport. Build your team. 6 reasons why 90% will never be financially free. They never define their number. They choose comfort over growth. They treat careers as destinations. They confuse assets with liabilities. They underestimate time. And they try to do it all alone. The beautiful thing is that awareness is the first step to change. If you recognized yourself in any of these patterns, you now have the power to change course. Financial freedom isn't reserved for the lucky or the privileged. It's available to anyone willing to avoid these 6 traps and take consistent, deliberate action. The question isn't whether it's possible. The question is whether you'll start today. If this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every video on the Wealth Code is designed to move you from the 90% to the 10%. Share this with someone who needs to hear the truth about financial freedom. I'll see you in the next one.